Hey there, my friend. If you've been keeping a close eye on the Dallas Cowboys lately, you know that the tension inside the locker room is starting to bubble up. And this time, it involves two of the biggest names on our defense, Micah Parsons and DeMarcus "Tank" Lawrence. Reports from inside the team suggest that things haven't been exactly smooth between the two. The turning point? A heated moment that took place during a team meeting where Parsons openly challenged the unit's leadership and accountability on the field. What caught everyone off guard was Tank Lawrence's cold and distant reaction. No eye contact, no backing him up, not even a word. Just silence. Now, this wasn't just a small disagreement. It revealed something deeper, a disconnect in how the leaders of this defense see their roles and responsibilities. While Parsons has quickly grown into a vocal force, demanding excellence every snap, Tank has always carried himself with that quiet veteran presence. But this time, silence spoke louder than words. And here's the thing. Moments like this can shake the core of a locker room. It's not just about individual egos. It's about the chemistry of a team that's supposed to fight together, trust each other, and win together. So when the two defensive cornerstones aren't on the same page, it raises real questions about unity and direction. Now I want to hear from you. Seriously, whose side are you on in this situation? Are you backing Parsons, the fiery young leader, trying to elevate the standard? Or do you side with Tank, the seasoned vet who leads in his own way? Drop your opinion in the comments right now. Let's open a quick vote. Who do you think should be the true vocal leader of this defense? Parsons or Lawrence? And this clash isn't just about today. It could impact the entire future of the Cowboys defense. So let's dive deeper into what this means going forward. All right, now let's shift the focus to the most debated name in Dallas right now, Dak Prescott. Let's be real, you and I both know that Dak's situation has become one of the hottest topics among Cowboys fans. There's no way around it. There's a growing cloud of concern around his future. Between injuries, playoff struggles, and inconsistent performances in high-pressure games, it's hard not to ask, can Dak really take this team to the next level? The criticism has been loud. Some say he's not the guy to win when it matters most. Others still believe he just needs the right system and support to get it done. And honestly, both sides have valid points. He's shown flashes of brilliance, but when the postseason rolls around, things tend to unravel. And now, the rumors are only making things more complicated. Whispers about a possible trade have started to surface. Some folks are even throwing wild ideas around, like a full rebuild or worse, a Tank for Arch Manning scenario. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but it's out there, and it tells you just how divided the fan base has become. So here's a question for you. On a scale from 1 to 10, how concerned are you about Dak's future in Dallas? Go ahead, drop your vote in the comments. I want to see where you stand, because here's the real dilemma. Do the Cowboys stick with Dak, give him one more push with a stronger supporting cast and better coaching? Or is it time to seriously consider moving on, even if that means taking a risk and stepping into the unknown? Let's talk about it. Would you trade Dak right now if the offer was right? Or do you still believe he's the man to lead this team to a Super Bowl? Comment below. This is your moment to weigh in. And speaking of the future, if the Cowboys really want to take a step forward, they'll need to make smart moves in the upcoming draft. Because no matter who's under center, the supporting cast has to be elite. So let's take a look at the possible picks that could shape the next chapter of this franchise. Now, let's dive into one of the most exciting parts of the off-season, the NFL draft. You know how it is. This is where future stars are made, and where a franchise can change its entire trajectory with the right pick. For the Cowboys, this year's draft might be more critical than ever. With the number 12 pick in hand, the front office has a real shot to plug some key holes and set the tone for the next few seasons. But the big question is, who should they go after? Two names have been coming up a lot in early projections. First, there's Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State. This guy is an athletic freak. Big frame, strong hands, and sneaky fast for his size. He's a red zone threat and a mismatch nightmare for defenses. With the tight end position still lacking consistency, Warren could add a whole new dimension to the offense. Then there's Tyler Booker, the offensive lineman out of Alabama. This dude is a mauler, powerful, nasty, and technically sound. If the Cowboys want to protect whoever's playing quarterback in 2025, building a stronger offensive line is a no-brainer. You know as well as I do, games are won in the trenches. But here's where things get tricky. Should the Cowboys prioritize a playmaker like Warren, or go with a foundation piece like Booker on the offensive line? And don't forget, there's also talk about needing a new wide receiver or even more help on defense. So here's your turn to step into the GM chair. If you had the 12th pick in the draft, who are you taking? Warren, Booker, or someone else entirely? Drop your pick in the comments. I want to hear your draft strategy. Because let's be honest, this pick could make or break the Cowboys' short-term future. The right choice could give this team the edge it's been missing. The wrong one? Well, we've seen that movie before. And speaking of weapons, what about wide receivers? The draft isn't the only place to find talent. There are names floating around in free agency that could change the game. Let's take a look at who might be walking through those doors in Dallas. All right, now let's shift gears and talk about something that's been buzzing around the Cowboys fan base lately, wide receivers. Because let's face it, if this offense wants to be truly dangerous, they need more firepower on the outside. And guess what? There are some very interesting names being linked to Dallas. One of the hottest names right now is Elijah Moore. He's young, explosive, and still hasn't hit his ceiling. Coming off a season where he flashed some serious potential, Moore could be exactly what this offense needs. A fast, shifty slot receiver who can stretch the field and take pressure off CeeDee Lamb. And let's be honest, with Lamb constantly double-teamed, Moore could thrive in Dallas. But then there's the veteran route. Keenan Allen is a name that always commands respect. He's one of the most reliable route runners in the game, and his leadership could be invaluable in a locker room that's still trying to find its balance. Even though he's a bit older, you know. Exactly what you're getting with Keenan: consistency, toughness, and clutch catches when it matters most. Now here's the big question. Should the Cowboys invest in a proven veteran like Allen, or go younger with someone like Moore? Or maybe the better move is to wait and find a gem in the draft instead of spending big in free agency. Let me throw it to you, my friend. Who would you like to see wearing the star on the helmet in 2025? Moore, Allen, or someone else? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. And hey, this is a critical decision for the front office. One good signing can elevate an entire offense. But they'll need to be smart, especially considering the current cap space situation, which is exactly where we're heading next. Because building a championship team isn't just about stars, it's about depth, balance, and smart spending. Let's talk about the bigger picture. All right, let's wrap this up by talking about what might be the most underrated part of building a winning team: cap space and roster depth. Because let's be real, you can have stars like Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, but without a solid foundation behind them, the whole thing falls apart. Right now, the Cowboys are in a bit of a tight spot. The front office has leaned heavily on top-heavy contracts, putting a lot of money into a few big names while often ignoring the middle tier, the guys who actually give a roster depth, flexibility, and durability throughout a long season. And now, with decisions looming on extensions, restructures, and free agent moves, every dollar counts. The margin for error is razor thin. One bad contract, and it could cost the team a key contributor elsewhere on the roster. But there's a glimmer of hope: the arrival of some fresh minds on the coaching staff. For example, Clayton Adams, the new offensive line coach, brings a reputation for developing talent and maximizing under-the-radar players. That kind of coaching could be the key to getting more out of the roster, without breaking the bank. Still, the big challenge remains: can the Cowboys finally strike the right balance between stars and supporting cast? because that's what separates contenders from pretenders. Let me toss this one to you. If you were running the front office today, what would you prioritize? Big names or deeper depth across the roster? Hit the comments and let's talk about it. And hey, before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's a lot more coming your way. Breaking news, draft breakdowns, trade rumors, and everything a true Cowboys fan needs to stay one step ahead. This offseason might just shape the future of the franchise. So stick with us and let's ride this journey together. See you in the next video, partner.